Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Bulletproof Spotlight. I am Chris the Brain, and I am being joined by the writer and director of the recently released Relentless. It's Mr. Tom Botchii.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Very excited to be here.
I got a chance to watch the movie and review the movie. People could check that out over on bulletproofaction.com. I have to ask, where did the idea come from for this story?
So I'm a real big fan of like cat and mouse chases in movies, whether that be action films or horror films. And I always kind of thought like, why can't that just be the movie?
Right. Yeah, the good stuff.
And then and another place that I drew a lot of influence from is just like the world of Twitter and how it works and how everyone's just like there's so much like targeted rage
Oh,
and
yeah.
like selected rage, and it's just everyone raging versus anybody listening. So I just thought that'd be like an interesting dynamic to have for some characters, like what they're going through. And so I basically combined those two ideas, and that's how Relentless came about.
Yeah, I think one thing action movies may do better than any other movies is you kind of hold that mirror up to society. Like, you think back in the 70s when Death Wish was released and all the crime in the big cities, and the Cold War obviously was a theme for so many movies, and terrorism. And now we've got a whole new sort of crime going on with, these high-tech crimes that could completely destroy a person. I mean, you hear about this stuff all the time. I mean, I think LifeLock should have sponsored your movie, because it tells you that some bad things can happen without you even know. You didn't do a darn thing, but somebody comes in there, and with all the computer hacking and whatnot, you can be ruined in minutes.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a really interesting idea. Like I've often thought about like product placement and things like that to like get a budget for a film. And when we were doing this film, I was like, do I reach out to one of these like crazy gun manufacturers about like, doing something? And I was just like, I'm not going to use real guns anyways, so I don't care. But yeah, I mean that's I totally could have done that. We probably should have done that to get some more budget in there. But
Right.
hey, that's how it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, the movie tells the story of Teddy Brimsvall, who, when we meet him, he is now down and out. But at one point, he had a normal life until old June Kashida ruined it for him. But the thing about it is, you don't know at that point that you don't know why these two are connected. But it doesn't take long before we see Teddy show up at the door and pretending to be one of those annoying people that come to I don't get the people who still come door to door for anything. When somebody comes to my door, I just pretend I don't hear it. June probably would have been smart to do the same. But yeah, then we get into something that I know you really enjoyed about the film, was the first fight scene, and the very different sort of fight scenes that are in your movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the aspects that also drew me to the story that I wanted to pursue further was like the idea of starting with characters that it's like a day of the life of a character and just plopping them into a scenario and going versus setting up every goddamn like this guy hates cheese and
Right.
that's why he whatever. I'm just like I just want to like get into it and go. And um part of it is just I have a super short attention span. Like
There you go.
I edit a lot, so sometimes I'll watch a movie, and when people are like, "Ooh, it's like a real cool slow burn," I'm like, "How slow does it burn?"
Right.
Like I start getting antsy. So yeah, I mean, I love the idea of like starting an action and explaining and peeling back more layers as we go. I just find it interesting, and it
Yeah.
also holds my personal attention span. And um, the fight scenes themselves, what I was going for and what I like about how the film ended up is I'm not trying to do something that's all based in fight choreography and everyone looks pretty and they do the freaking spinning Van Damme kick, the
Right.
like if nobody's watching, I'm doing a little finger motion that implies like jumping, rounding, spinning back kick.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how to do that. And like, and one of the elements that I wanted to capture was something I'm not currently seeing, which is mad chaos and like really ugly fighting versus like the prettiest fighting. Like I want to really capture that energy that feels kinetic, but it feels raw. And I think a lot of times we see great action in films that's really kinetic, but it's so clean and pretty and like uh I don't know how to describe it. It's very
Too polished.
it's very polished and
Yeah.
so I was just trying to go for something that felt the opposite of that and felt a little dirtier and really messy, and it didn't feel like these people were expert black belts. Like they're not black belts in jujitsu. They don't watch UFC. Like they're just dudes.
Right. Yeah, they may have taken a martial arts class here or there, but you can't get to that level just kind of doing it on the side as a hobby or anything. It's like, yeah, so they were just fighting tooth and nail, fighting for their lives.
And like the thing is, it's like Teddy is a character who is down and out. He's on the streets. I've been on the streets, and in those situations, you get hardened and you learn to stand up for yourself, but you're not learning how to duck and roll punches and all these things. What you're learning is how not to be a victim. And so the idea is when he attacks, my goal is to present the aggression, and then whatever happens next, we'll see, because I wanted to feel more like a realistic development or in chaos to try to capture how people think, how they panic, and just kind of show just a different side of that choreography. And yeah, so I think one of the first things that happens in the film is you get into like a home invasion, and what I was going for there is just mass intensity. I just want to see the intensity of that scene versus like very pristine, clean action. I wanted like brutality,
Right. Yeah, I mean, because you could put yourself in the shoes, and it's like, well, if somebody just came into you're just going to grab whatever you have near you and start using it. It's not like, oh, hold on, I've got my katana in the closet. We're going to have a sword fight here in my living.
Exactly.
No, you're just
and that's not to like bash anybody else's what they're doing. It's just what I wanted to do was something different. I just really want to try it.
I was thinking like the recent movie The Wrecking Crew, like Jason Momoa's girlfriend shows up and somehow she is a high-speed driver, and you know what, yeah, that could take you out, but again, depends on the movie, and that movie's obviously just fun and over the top and you just roll with it, where sometimes it's that could take you out depending on the tone of the film. That one, it works because it's just ridiculous and it's supposed to be, and everybody's just having fun. But yours is obviously a more grounded story, more into reality, and you see that with the fights.
Yeah, I wanted these ugly bastards to do ugly things. Like when you mentioned Wrecking Crew, those are pretty people, man. And so when they get stuff choreographed, I mean, they look amazing, and there's like glint coming off them and all this stuff, and that's great. And but yeah, I mean, we needed to be down and ugly in this one. So. And
I want to commend you for using the term bastard, because that's like my favorite word. So
sweet.
I count them on bulletproofaction.com. You can find the Count the Bastard list. 44 movies already with double-digit bastards.
Whoa, okay.
That's right. So yeah, if it's a double-digit bastard, I put it on the list. So that's just one of my stupid random things I do for entertainment. So
interesting. Okay.
I'm glad you used that term.
I'll have to start putting that in all the films now.
I was gonna say, yeah, you could. It'd be like, oh, he's on there. I think the number one has 46 though. That's gonna be tough.
46. Whoa. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there's an old school Shaw Brothers where the main character was in fact a bastard. So they were flying here and there and everywhere. But yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely, I will be glad to count how many bastards you put in your next movie.
Yeah. Well, I was going to call the movie Bastard. So
There you go.
I should win. I should be the top of the list.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good start right then and there. Yeah. So yeah, do you have anything else in the works?
There's a few things I'm working on. I think probably like any filmmaker you have on here and you ask them like, oh, what do you guys have cooking? They're like, I'm just always cooking. Like I'm always in the fucking kitchen just sitting there cooking. I don't know. It's like hopefully these projects go, but that's kind of how it works with any film is you kind of always having maybe like 5 or 6 items you're working and the idea is hopefully one lines up right after your last one finishes. So there are a couple now that I'm lining up, and we'll see how that process goes. You hate to like talk about it before it happens because you're just a bastard.
Exactly. He told me he had a new movie coming out soon. Where the hell is it? That bastard.
Yeah. But there's like I mean there's a lot more films that I want to do. So as everybody who's doing this, so yeah.
And like you said, I do. Yeah, a lot of things. I'm sure the stars all have to align, and everything has to hit at the right time, and then you can proceed. Right. Going back to Relentless, what would you say was one of the more challenging aspects of making that movie?
This was both a benefit and a detriment, and that is that I wanted to try to do this film like I have done short films in the past.
Okay.
My first feature was a kind of a bigger affair, and I really wanted to just like do a movie that was fun with like 6 of my friends, and like I literally mean 6. So that's both a benefit because you generally move a lot faster and you could block out your scenes and just start knocking out like 14 pages a day and get stuff going. But also it's a detriment because obviously when you're working with a limited crew, you have very limited resources. So when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to, okay, well now we got to switch gears. Sometimes it moves a lot faster. Sometimes it moves a lot slower. So that was both a benefit and a detriment. And a good example of that is there's a scene in the film that takes place in a car wash.
Oh,
well, during that scene, one of our lenses broke. So if we had a big grip truck and a bigger crew with multiple camera teams and a second unit, I could have been like, well, just get that bastard's lens, whatever. But we didn't have that. So it was like, well, we got 2 lenses left, baby. Let's see what happens. So I really enjoy how that scene turned out, but also it could have been even more chaotic and even more had like more coverage that I would have been happy with. But the fact that we got through it with a broken lens and people are like slipping on the ground. Our sound man got tied up in one of those spinny whirly turban things, and that almost ended up bad. So just like the fact that we survived it is like, hey, that's I get, just be grateful for that. So yeah, I mean in that regard it was both like a benefit but also a detriment at times.
Right. That's where that LifeLock money could have come in handy.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You could really, but yeah, that scene, one of my favorites in the movie, just because it's like, oh, they're going for you. You love when you see just that. Okay, it's just like, oh, they're going there. Here we go, and this is so over the top and just so brutal. And yeah.
That was my bit of now that we're in this cat and mouse dynamic, what's out there that I could just do that's just fun, that just like takes us to the next level, and that was one of those moments. So I'm really glad that we were able to pull that off.
Yeah, and I would have to wonder, they again going back to Death Wish, like there was some stories that when Death Wish opened in New York and they saw Bronson killing these muggers, that people were like cheering in the theater, standing up. I have to wonder if anyone has had like their identity stolen or their cards hacked or whatever. I have to imagine you watch this movie and you are 100% on Teddy's side.
I have gotten some feedback about some people who were like, they relate to both characters. So I haven't heard that directly, but there are a lot of people on Teddy's side, which is interesting. I like how the story moves, how people like perceive it, and like the feedback I've gotten back. It's really interesting because everyone has a little bit of a different different stance. Like certain people love Teddy, certain people understand June's plight, and certain other people just are like, man, just next time, just do a movie that's just one long fight scene, man. Have them fight through everywhere. So,
I mean, yeah, we do. You do give June kind of a backstory as to why he does what he does. He's not just some cartoony villain like, I'm stealing everybody's money, and
right,
like he's Mr. Monopoly or something, and just holding money.
Yeah. Yeah. June's story really kind of comes from, I grew up Polish in this really small town. We had immigrated over. I mean, I was 5 when we came to the States. And when you're in a small town and you're any type of different background, whatever, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I really wanted to like bond with kids, but I wasn't American. So it's like I was kind of like, I had to deal with bullying and stuff like that. And ironically, the only people that were nice to me were the Asian American kids that were also bullied. And we would always go like watch WrestleMania and Royal Rumble every year together. So it was like,
again, you're speaking my language over here. Yeah.
So when it came to doing this film, like that was like just, I guess it was like writing about that. It was like a thing that naturally came out. So it was really interesting because it was like, I understand this backstory. Like I am this backstory,
Yeah, I was gonna say you put yourself into the story, which obviously helps because you knew the feeling of it and were able to, I'm sure, convey that to the actors what you were going for there.
Yeah, and both actors I think they were really good to work with, and yeah, I'm really excited to see they have a lot of stuff cooking now that's going to be very good for both of them, and I'm really excited to like see where they go and see if we end up working together again, and so.
Yeah, and Jeffrey, he's ripped in this, but I guess that happens when you're just eating tuna out of a can.
Right, dude. Tuna's the leanest protein you can eat, man. I mean, no carbs in that. So.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they were both in like really good shape, so I think they knew that they had something that had a lot of physicality in it. So they kind of like leaned out and were like training heavily before, and then when we're on set, we just fucking ate a cake all day. So, it is what it is. It's like you're on set and you eat set food. It's like beef jerky, protein bars. What is this? Dairy Queen.
I did want to ask, was the sign spinner an actual sign spinner, or was he somebody you found, an actor?
That's our PA, Daniel Schreifer.
Okay.
He's our PA, and he helped us out with some second like assistant cam work and stuff like that. He's really fun to have on set, and we needed an extra body, and that's how indie films work. It's like, hey brother, I think you're spinning the sign today.
And he got into it. He was much more into his job.
Right.
Teddy didn't give a rat's ass, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was like actually surprisingly he got the hang of it like really, really quickly. So I was like, oh, okay. This kind of worked out.
Yes, he's a standout there. Just one of those random characters. Like, yep, I'll always remember the sign's been doing the machine. He's kind of doing going back to the record. He was kind of doing the Batista, like.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the directive. I said, do the Batista. You're coming out, fireworks are behind you, and I mean, he nailed it. So
he certainly did. Sign Spinner of the Year, if we have that award, we'll give it to him. I don't know if that exists.
He's one of one on that list. So
yeah, he's a shoo-in. Anything else you want to tell us about Relentless? I know it is available on Prime Video. People could rent it, and I highly recommend that they do. Anything else you want to tell us before we wrap up here?
I think Relentless is a really good film for anybody who wants to see like cat and mouse revenge thriller. and it's if you're into action films, I think it's a watch that like develops over time that will grow more interesting as you watch the film. And I think it's like great for like a Friday night or a Saturday night with some buddies, you know. I think it's also one of those movies you watch alone that you discover at 2 a.m. Like I would watch like when I was 11 and I'd be up late at night and like the Road Warrior would come on, you know.
Right.
It's one of those types, or Cyborg. Like to me, Cyborg is
Oh,
like
of
I remember
course.
watching like 2 a.m. and I was like, oh my god, what is this? They're killing his wife and child. Why is he doing the split kick? And oh, he stabbed him. You know, like that's
Right.
just.
And the barbed wire. Is that why you wanted to use
Oh
barbed
yeah,
wire?
and there you go. There's a barbed wire component to that as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, the barbed wire primarily came from the wrestling influence in my life, but you know, it's just always on the forefront of my mind. All these like thumbtack death matches, broken glass, barbed wire. It's like if I'm ever in like a knockdown drag out fight, I know that's like one of the first things I'm going to look for. Where's the table?
Right. Now, where's the 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire?
Right.
There's no, they're laying around everywhere. You just got to know where to look, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So definitely, if you're a wrestling fan, you should check out this movie for sure.
Yeah.
My final sell on it, but yeah.
Yeah, I would concur. It was a very good movie, and like you said, I love the way you paced it. And you said you owned up to it. You've got ADD, and you're making sure anybody else who has ADD is like,
yeah,
they're into it because we meet each individual, and then we bring them. Once you get going, it's one of those like, okay, I have to see this through now. It's not one of those like, because they have so much exposition in the front end, and you're just like, can somebody do something already? And do that. But no, yours is well paced. It's like 93 minutes, so you're not asking a ton of the audience. You just sit down, enjoy it, like you said, by yourself with your buds, whatever you want to do. But I would definitely say check out Relentless. It is currently available on VOD.